Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You know those times when you get invited to a party as a guest?
I literally sat right across from Steven Tyler and I just asked him every question I could ever imagine about everything.
We're walking with Michael Jackson.
And you have no idea what you're in for.
I was not thinking about, doing the funky cold Medina with Tone Loc.
This is a podcast about just that.
They're going to arrest us for being on mushrooms at a wizard park. We're in trouble.
This is Plus One Stories.
Okay, this is Plus One Stories, and we're back. What's going on? I'm Chris Donovan, the host, and today we get to talk to my good friend Terri. Well, I'm not exactly sure of her last name. When I worked with her at a radio station in Southern California called X1039, she went by Terri Yaki, which I really loved. And then I look in my phone, and it says Terri Ramos, and I'm like, is that her? And then I look on Facebook, and it says Terri Bowen, because, of course, she got married. But now I'm super confused because in this conversation, she says she's Terry Fox. So just catch up with me on her names and listen to this amazing story of Terri's first radio gig in Arizona when she met Tone Loc. And Tone Loc wanted to do the funky Cole Medina with her. So hang out and find out exactly what happens with Terri, Tone Loc, and oh yeah, she ran into Robert Van Winkle, better known as Vanilla Ice, that night too. Enjoy. Terri, thank you for coming on Plus One Stories. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you, friend?
Good. Now, I stated in my intro, but I wasn't sure what I'm supposed to call you because when we worked in radio back in the early 2000s, you were Terri Yaki.
It kind of stuck. People call me Terri Yaki still, or I have some close friends that call me Miss Yaki, or you can just call me Terri.
But I had you in my phone as Terri Ramos.
Yeah, that's when I went to a different radio station. They made me change my name.
I love teriyaki, but then I went to your Facebook and it said Terri Bowen. So I'm really confused at who I'm talking to right now.
Well, I am a Gemini, so I guess I have multiple personalities.
Yeah, well, we both are. Our birthdays are a day apart.
This is true. I forgot about that.
But yeah, Terri, thank you for joining the show, Plus One Stories. As you know, this is a show where people, that got to just kind of hang out and see stuff happen or had stuff happen to them when they were invited to these cool places as being someone's guest. So what do you got for me today?
It took me a second to try and figure out something. But I think, with all the people that we've met in our radio career, I think one of my best moments is when I was working for my very first radio station in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, cool. What was the station?
It was 93.7 KRQ.
A rock station.
No, it was actually top 40s.
Oh, KRQ. Sounds like K-Rock.
Yeah, it does, because their call sign is KRQQ, which messed me up a little bit. But, that was the very first station that I worked for. Yes. And we were having a concert that night at this place in downtown Tucson called the Outback. And I'm not even sure if it's still there. But it was funny because this was right around the time when Vanilla Ice was trying to reinvent himself. And he redid his own song. I really thought when I first heard Ice Ice Baby and it was the screaming version,
yeah,
that it was somebody else. And then I found out that it was Vanilla Ice. I'm like, you don't redo your own crap. What the heck? But anyways, there was a show that night and it was Tone Loc who was opening for Vanilla Ice, if you can believe that one.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And this after Vanilla Ice has already fizzled out and tried to come back.
Yeah, right. I was like, what is this? Why is Tone Loc opening for Vanilla Ice? It should be the other way around. But it was not. And I watched Tone Loc, and it was great because I mean I grew up, listening Funky Cold Medina, Wild Thing, and I thought I really, really want to just meet Tone Loc. I think that would be a nice person, to check off on my list. And first I went to go backstage with my radio credentials, and the guy wouldn't let me backstage. And I swear to you, Chris, this is the one and only time in my life that I went, I'm sorry, do you not know who I am?
Uh-oh, that never works for me.
Well, it was just one of those. I vowed I would never say it, but I said it. And then one of the other guys, Rich Donovan, I'm like, Rich, he won't let me backstage. And he was like, she works for the station. She can go wherever she wants. So I was like,
yeah, take
but
that.
anyway, yeah, it was really cool. But I went back, and Tone Loc was just chilling with some homies. And I just walked up and said, hey man, my name is Terri. Back then I was Terry Fox. So we'll just throw in another name there for you. More. Yeah. With 2 X's, like Jamie Foxx, but
Exotic.
But anyway, right. Sure. Let's go with that. But so I just walked out. I was like, hey man, my name is Terri. I work for the station. I just wanted to say hi, and I really enjoyed your show. And I cannot impersonate Tone Loc because his voice is just way too low. But he was like, oh, hey, thanks. Why don't you have a seat? And so I sat down across from him. We're all talking. This fool was talking about how dry the weed was in Arizona. And I looked at him and I was like, I don't know where you get your stuff from, but I haven't had any issues. And then Tone Loc looks at me and goes, you smoke? And I went, yeah, And so he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out this fat sack and he goes, you and me later. And I was like, okay,
Right? You're like,
So
I'm going to
I was
meet
like,
Tone Loc and then I'm going to smoke with him too?
right. So then it was just one of those things where I was like, how great would this story be? What did you do? I got high with Tone Loc,
And then we got married and had babies. No, I'm just kidding.
that was not, I was in my early 20s then. And I was not thinking about, doing the Funky Cold Medina with Tone Loc.
Hey, look at that.
But hey, look at that. But the night went on, and he got up and went out, came back in, and somebody had jacked his spot. And so I was like, all right, hey, you can sit here. And he totally sat on my lap. And I was like, oh my God. And cell phones didn't have cameras back then, so I couldn't take a picture.
Yeah, they didn't, huh?
I feel really old right now because they didn't have cameras. And so I was like, I can't even take a picture to document this. I can't even call anybody. But we were walking around together for a little bit after that, and he had his arm around my shoulders. He's like, this is my girl, Terri Fox. And I felt all super important. Some girl wanted him to do an autograph, and he goes, sure. And she totally whipped out her freaking boob. And I was like, oh, you got to warn a person before you do that.
No camera for that either.
I was just like, man. So he signed it happily, and we were walking around, and then he pulled me off to the side in where nobody else was. And we were talking. He's like, so I was kind of wondering if you wanted to come back and hang out, with us in the hotel room, smoke a little weed. I was like, yeah, that would be cool. And then the next thing you know, he fucking kissed me. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to.
No, I'm sure that's how it surprised you.
But I was like, what? And then I was just like, okay.
Wait,
and then he did it again.
With or without tongue?
I think it was without.
Mm.
But sorry to disappoint. It was a long time ago, and there was alcohol that was being consumed. So but he kissed me twice.
Wow. Okay.
And so I was like, okay, this is weird. I didn't know.
Did you have a boyfriend?
No, I did not have a boyfriend.
So you were single.
I was very single, and I was like, how do I handle this? I'm okay with going back and smoking out, just chilling. But I think, he may want to do the wild thing. And I'm like, no, I don't think that I want to do the wild thing with Tone Loc.
Oh, it could have been the start of your music career. You're an awesome singer.
Thank you. But I just was not prepared for that. And I had to work at 6:00 the next morning at my other job. And I told him that, and he goes, just call out. And I said, here, why don't you do me a favor then? I'll give you the number. You call my work and you tell them, hey, this is Tone Loc and Terry's hanging out with me. So she's not going to be at work tomorrow morning. And they said, and then when they fire me, you can give me the kick-ass job.
Right.
He was like, but you already have a kick-ass job. I was only part-time. But yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Tell them to buy the radio station and make you full-time.
Yeah, exactly. But needless to say, some of the girls that were hanging out, the one who whipped out her boob for the autograph, they were trying to go back. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to steal this moment from them. So I'll let them have it.
She'll get both boobs out.
She can have it. It's fine. I had to help corral everybody into the limo. And he was like, are you coming? I was like, no, my friend, I am going to have to pass, but thank you.
And that's the last time you saw Tone Loc.
And that was the last time I saw Tone Loc.
He rode off into the sunset in his limo with boobs out. Not his, the other ones.
Yes. With the boob chick that had his autograph right on her boob.
That is hilarious. Oh my God. So, okay. I had a couple things that went in there. You said Vanilla Ice, which is funny because I have a Vanilla Ice story. I used to work at the Grove in Anaheim, and I had a night off, so I was at the club that they had there. I was hanging out in the VIP room, and then one of the security guards goes, come here. And I'm like, what? She goes, I just embarrassed the shit out of myself. I'm like, what'd you do? She goes, I was patting this guy down to come into the VIP room, and I looked up at him, and I go, didn't you used to be Vanilla Ice? And she's like, I'm like, you said, didn't you used to be? And she goes, yes, I'm an idiot. And I go, what'd he say? And he goes, I still am. And then he walked right past her, like skipped security. Oh my God, it was the funniest shit ever. Robert Van Winkle is his name, right? Robert Van Winkle?
Something like that. I think so. Rob Van Winkle.
Yeah, something like that.
I wonder if he's related to Rip.
It's his grandson or something.
No,
I mean, it would make sense.
Rip that used to work with us at the radio station.
Oh, no, I doubt it. I was thinking Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt it. Okay, so then I have one other story too that came up too. You said there the boob just got whipped out.
Yes, it did.
When I first started working at X1039, I was getting trained by Dirty D, Daryl James. We all know him, love him in the Inland Empire. He's a staple of radio out here.
He loves a good banana split.
He's training me, and it was on CDs and carts back then. So you had to pay attention. So I'm doing a night shift, and homeless people are sleeping outside because the station was in San Bernardino. And this one girl calls, and she's like, "Oh my God, Daryl, I'm such a fan. I want to see you." Blah, 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 blah. So he let her come to the radio station. She comes into the radio station, just comes into the studio, checks it out. He shows her a few things, and we're like, "Okay, now what?" She just drops her shirt, shows her boobs.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
Yeah. First night working at an alternative rock radio station, puts her shirt up, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, what am I supposed to say? I'm like, thank you. Like, what is it?
You say thank you?
Yes, I totally said thank you. Oh, it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, oh, I like radio. Radio and me are going to get along.
Oh, man. Yeah, that doesn't work. See, that's not fair for me because, I can't imagine, like, if a guy were to be like, just whip out his junk, I'd be like,
It's like sending a D pic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me recap a little bit on your story since it got a little crazy. All right. And I love the whole drop of the wild thing and Funky Cold Bonita. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
So back in Tucson, Arizona, in your early 20s, you worked at KRQQ 93.7. I don't know why I did a country accent.
I have no idea either, but that's okay.
You were hosting an event with Tone Loc opening for Vanilla Ice, which is an odd combination, especially when Vanilla Ice has already failed.
Very much so.
Now, you were at the venue called the Outback, not to be confused with the restaurant.
Correct.
And you're sitting there and you're like, I really want to find Tone Loc and I want to say hi because I'm a really big fan. Then he shows you his sack of weed, big fat sack of weed. Sits on your lap, asks you to come back to the hotel, kisses you a few times, and you ask him to call your boss so you, like, in sick for work the next day.
Yeah.
And you still didn't go back and do the wild thing.
I did not.
You turned him down because the girl that whipped her boob out took the floor.
I felt, maybe this would just be her, like, one shining moment that she could say, she got to hang out with Tone Loc. I mean, I'd already met a bunch of celebrities, so I thought, why not let somebody else stand in the limelight for once?
Yeah, you could have pulled the rug right out from underneath her.
I could have. I really could have.
That's funny. I have another story that's hilarious. One of the sales ladies I worked with at the House of Blues, this is how she lost her job.
Uh-oh.
Okay? This is also how Disney gave the House of Blues a list of bands that are not allowed to play here anymore.
Oh, wow.
So Snoop Dogg is coming to town, Anaheim,
Yeah.
playing the House of Blues. This salesperson's a huge fan and does anything she can to get backstage to see him. She goes backstage. She actually just gets back there. She goes like talking to some of the crew or whatever she knows. Then she goes, makes her way into the dressing room, like opens up the door, walks in. It's just him and a couple other people, closes the door and does the funky Cole Medina on his Wild thing.
What?
With her mouth. and that's how she got fired from that job.
Oh my God.
Yes. Isn't that gnarly?
Oh my God. I feel like that's so much better than my story.
I think it could have gone that way for you if you wanted it to, because he wanted it. I'm not sure how much Snoop cared about that, but
I mean, if you think about it, like, how old is he? He's like 20. I think he's like 20 years or so older than me.
Oh,
so
yeah, you're right.
I was like, no, I just wasn't. I was like, yeah.
You did that. Oh no. Oh, okay.
When he kissed me, I was like, what the? I was so taken back with the first one that when he did it again the second time, I was like, I feel like maybe I should react a little bit and not let him feel so bad because he just put himself out there. But then at the same time, I was like, this dude is really old. And isn't he married?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I had morals back then.
Yeah, you lost those after the 20s, late 20s.
Yeah.
Early 30s. Well, Terri, thanks for joining the show today. I really appreciate it. You want to promote anything, plug anything? What do you got?
I wish I could say that I had something that I do now, besides karaoke. I mean, I go to karaoke at Azteca and Garden Grove on Saturday nights. If anybody wants to come hear me sing, I'll be there on the 26th. But
he's a great singer too.
Thanks. I appreciate you. But I'm going to give my son a little bit of a shout out. He streams on Twitch. It is the Chak, so THECHAK and then _. So you can check him out on Twitch, and on Instagram, I believe is the Chak _TV. He's amazing, and go check him out and just follow him and support him because he's my kid and I said so.
And you want him to move out? No, I'm just kidding.
I do. No, I love him to death.
I know. That's cool. Well, check it out. Everybody go check that out right now. And I will catch you all later. Thank you, Terri.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
You've survived another story. Thanks for listening. And please let us know what you think about the show by leaving a rating and review. If you have a story or want to connect with Chris, go to thisisfunner.com.